Hello everyone, welcome to the online series of Gopalswamy PU College. I am Suma, Economics lecturer. In today's session of 2nd PUC Economics, in continuation with the topics of money and banking, let us discuss about the monetary policy and demonetization. You all know that the monetary policy is prescribed by the central bank of any country and Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of our country. So, Reserve Bank of India frames the monetary policy of our economy. The monetary policy is a very important policy to bring stability in the economy of a country. According to AP Kent, monetary policy is defined as the monetary policy is the expansion and contraction of the volume of money in circulation for the explicit purpose of attaining specific objectives. So, here you can see that there are three very important aspects in the monetary policy, that is monetary policy is the expansion and contraction. It is related to the expansion and contraction of volume of money and which is in circulation for the explicit purpose, explicit and exclusively for that purpose only, to attain certain objectives or to attain specific objectives. So, with this you can easily understand that a monetary policy is framed in relation to the contraction and expansion of the volume of money that is in circulation, that is in the form of the legal tender with the public in the existing economy, and it is done for the explicit purpose of attaining specific objectives. There are lots of objectives that are attained by the Reserve Bank of India through its various functions. So, to attain all these specific objectives, Reserve Bank of India has to bring stability in the volume of expansion and contraction of money that is in circulation. This is very important, that is in circulation, because whatever the money that is in the form of reserves, we are not going to handle it every time, but whatever the money that is in circulation is only considered. You all know that money flow has both the concepts, that is static as well as dynamic concept. So, the stock of a money is a static concept and the flow of money is known as dynamic concept. So, here we consider the money that is in flow in between the society, in the economy at a period of time. So, therefore, we consider the money that is in circulation. Let us discuss about the objectives of monetary policy. There are 5 important objectives of monetary policy. The first one is to stabilize the money market. You know that the money market faces lots of fluctuations. Whenever there is some political instability or there is a natural calamity or any terrorist attack or due to many other reasons, money market suffers. The Sensex at the stock market also varies because of different types of money market variations. The second one is to stabilize exchange rate, because an unstable exchange rate is not favorable for foreign trade. Therefore, we have to bring stability in the exchange rates of different countries' currencies. So, to have stability, a strong monetary policy should be there in an economy. The third one is to stabilize price levels. Price levels are determined by the macroeconomic variables, and the price levels are dependent on the inflationary rate and exflationary rates. If there is more demand for the product in an economy, the price will naturally hike, and if more money is available to the public in the form of loans, the demand will still increase, and as a result the inflation will be seen in the market. As vice versa, if you see see, in the case of the non-availability of the loans, there will be a shortage of money supply to the public and the products will not be purchased, and naturally there will be a season of recession because there is a depression, people are not ready to buy the goods and the demand for the goods will decline and it results in the exflationary situation. So, both these inflation as well as exflation both are harmful for the economy. So, therefore, the government wants to ensure that there is a stability in the price levels. So, it tries to bring a balance between the demand for money as well as the supply of money. So, there should be an existence of equilibrium between these two. The next one is to control trade cycles. Lots of variations are there. Seasonal products will enter the market which find the demand in a higher rate, and during the off-season time the demand will be totally absent. So, to meet all these variations of trade cycles also, the monetary policy helps, and monetary policy intervenes and helps the economy by giving minimum support price for the products, particularly for the agricultural products, so that the products should not be rotten and the demand for the product should be created. If the price is too high also, the products will be left unsold, and if the product's price is very less, then also at times there is no need for that product, then again it will be left unsold. So, therefore, not only for the agricultural products but it applies to all kinds of the industrial products also. The next one is to ensure full employment. It ensures full employment. A situation of full employment with high per capita income is very important for the monetary situation of an economy, because a good full employment situation as well as high per capita income yields best returns and it ensures the economical situation under progress. To ensure full employment is also very important in the case of monetary policy. So, these 5 are the very important objectives of monetary policy. Let us see how this monetary policy intervened to tackle some of the problems that were existing in our country. So, there were lots of problems in relation to money, like the production of fake currencies, hoarding of cash in the name of black money, and over corruption, particularly during the times of general elections and in all the other cases. So, here the monetary policy of India took a great breakthrough on the 8th of November 2016, that it was known as the demonetization. So, demonetization was done by withdrawing the existing legal tender of highest denomination. So, it was resulted with the withdrawal of highest denominated notes of 500 and 1000 of Indian economy of that period. So, after withdrawing this, the government of India issued fresh currencies of 500 and 2000 rupees currency was launched. So, let us see what were the causes for this monetary policy of the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India, as the central government along with Reserve Bank of India, took a strong decision to prevent all these problems that were existing in our economy. So, the first cause for the execution of the demonetization is to avoid circulation of fake currency in the economy, because a lots of fake currencies that were in circulation in the economy. So, there were lots of counterfeiting of the currency of India was being done during that period. So, counterfeiting is duplication of the currency of a country fraudulently for terrorist purposes or for any other purpose, like to paralyze the economy of any country. So, to prevent the counterfeiting of currency notes also was the main cause for the demonetization act of government of India. The third cause is to prevent funding for terrorism. At that time, because of the existence and availability of the fake currency through the counterfeiting of the Indian currencies with highest denominated notes, the funding of terrorism was done, and to curb this activity of funding for terrorism, the government of India with Reserve Bank of India took a strong decision related to the withdrawal of these high denominated notes and to prevent black money and corruption. The corruption was at its highest during that period because every general election involved the distribution of the notes of high denomination and the votes were bought. So, to prevent this practice, the government of India decided to withdraw the existing currency and the hoarding of cash was done. There were lots of reasons for hoarding the cash. So, to prevent this hoarding of cash also, the government of India took a decision of withdrawing the 500 rupees and 1000 rupees denominated notes. So, all the notes of Mahatma Gandhi series were withdrawn by the government and fresh currencies of all denominations were issued gradually. They have entered the society, and today all the currencies of the previous series are not in operation. The four major causes for the demonetizations are learnt now, that is to avoid circulation of fake currencies, to prevent the counterfeiting of the currency notes, to prevent the funding of terrorism, and to prevent hoarding of cash, which led to the black money. Because of this hoarding of cash, the price levels were at its high and the demand for the products were also high, and there was a greater inflation. So, to curb this, the central government took a decision and the demonetization was done, and it was done in the history also of recent period. This is the first demonetization that was taken. The next, the objectives of demonetization. What were the objectives of demonetization? To form a tax compliant society. There was a practice among the people to prevent paying the tax. They were avoiding the payment of tax in one or the other way. So, this is known as evasion, because the non-tax compliant society was a big headache for the government, and to bring orderliness in the tax payments, the demonetization was took place. The second one is to bring formalization of economy. There was lots of irregularities and informalities in the economy of our country, and the economical situation was completely in disorder. So, to bring it into an orderliness, the formalization of economy was to be done. So, to bring this formalization of economy, the demonetization was taken place. The third one is to promote Digital India movement, because today we are all progressing towards electronic money transfers. So, electronic fund transferring like Google Pay, ATM, all plastic monies are being used in these days, because it is very difficult for carrying the hard cash due to the unsafe and insecure measures. So, therefore, to promote the Digital India movement, everything should be done with the operation of digits. So, to help and encourage this, to encourage the Digital India movement, demonetization was taken place, and to make India a cashless economy. India wanted to become a cashless economy, because everywhere money should be transferred with the electronic fund transfers through Digital India movement, and therefore to carry money is a risk factor in these days, and it is also was leading to unsafe for the occurrence of social evils, like lots of crimes and educated crimes were being taken. Lots of educated people were involved with the criminal activities. So, to curb all these, the demonetization was took place. So, the first step was to withdraw the 500 rupees and 1000 rupees currency notes from the economy. So, the government of India gave time for the public to deposit all the 500 rupees and 1000 rupees notes to their individual accounts till 31st of December 2016. So the demonetization was took place on 8th November 2016 and till 31st of December 2016 time was given to the public to remit back the currency notes that they had with them, and till March 31st 2017 time was given for them to remit the existing 500 rupees and 1000 rupees notes with RBI declaration. There were large queues in front of the ATMs as well as in front of the banks to get the money exchanged, and a few people were even died in the course of stampede during this demonetization period. To avoid complete breakdown and the cash crunch, the Government of India permitted each individual to exchange rupees 4,000 of old currency on each day for the new currency, and this process took place for next 3 months. And further, the Government of India said that till 12th of December 2016, all the petrol bunks and government hospitals and the tax payments were collected in the form of old currencies only. So it helped many of them to remit their taxes, and government collected lots of money in the form of tax. Those who were avoiding the tax and those who are involved with the tax evasion were brought back to order, and no stone was left unturned with this demonetization policy. All the money that was hoarded in the form of black money and all the hard cash that was hoarded in the form of black money was brought into the mainstream, and all the money was formalized. The demonetization had both negative and positive impacts. It received both appreciation as well as criticism. There were lots of positive impacts and the negative impacts were too. The negative impacts were that many people had to wait for the currencies in front of the banks by standing lengthy queues, and the system of economy was paralyzed for some months. And the positive impact is that the tax compliance were ordered. Large number of taxpayers were brought into the ambit of tax payment with tax compliance. Savings of individuals were channelized into the formal economical system. As a result, the banks got more amount in terms of deposits, and all the money that were deposited were lent to the public in the name of loans with lesser rate of interest, and the situation of inflation was brought back to the normalcy. It was the demonstration of states to take one strong step like demonetization, because every state wanted to curb the habit of hoarding the cash in the form of black money, and tax evasion was no more tolerated by the different state governments. So to bring back all these into normalcy, it was of great necessity to bring the demonetization. It brought the practice of all the households to have digital payments and to transfer money through the Paytm and through other different types of electronic fund transfers. It brought a greater change in the cash economy by bringing the formal payment system of electronic transfer. So it helped the motive of the Digital India movement of Government of India to be achieved. So therefore, demonetization was a very crucial step taken by the Government of India to bring back the economy into an orderliness, and after that the formalization of economy is seen. So after that, the Government of India issued a fresh currency note of 2000, which was not at all there in India as a legal tender, and now because of this high denominated note, it is very difficult for issue of fake notes, and people are very vigilant in these days. So with this I conclude this session. Thank you.